Hi, I'm Manisha, and welcome to Wannibe Studios. So this weekend, my sister and I participated in Ludum Dare 46, which is a global 72-hour game jam. This was going to be our second game jam ever, the first one only being 8 hours, so we were excited to see what we could do with way more time. 9 p.m. struck, and the theme for Ludum Dare 46 was revealed. The theme was Keep It Alive. So we started brainstorming and wrote down anything we could come up with. And as much as I wanted to get started, I kinda got pulled into playing Stardew Valley for the whole night. But we got up early the next morning and started elaborating on any potential ideas. One of them that we liked was keeping fear alive.
Donkey!
And yeah, that's my sister, the artist. By the way, this video is just based on our first Ludum Dare experience and just documents what we learned and what we did. And for me personally, I feel like there's a lot of stuff that I could have changed and done better. Anyways, we just asked my dad if he had any ideas, and he just told us a really graphic story and left. So we started doing some research, and we were really interested in mythology and folklore. This was our first mistake. We really shouldn't have spent so much time on the story and giving it depth. So one of the ideas that popped up while we were brainstorming was keeping culture alive. So it was interesting to see us migrating towards ideas from our own culture, which was Sri Lankan folklore. So finally we came across Demons of Sri Lanka, and we knew for sure that this was something that we could work with. And man, I forgot how cool those masks look. They're so vibrant and colorful, kinda creepy but really pretty. After looking around some more and, I guess, wasting some time, I came across this traditional drums video, and after watching that documentary, I knew this was a vibe that we could go for. So I started the project and just started building. This was my second mistake. I really should have brainstormed more about the gameplay and the game mechanics. So before I knew it, I was stumped. So I deleted everything and started again, and it turned out to be a platformer. So these demon masks usually have their tongues sticking out, and we thought about how that could be a really cool game mechanic. So our character would be able to use his tongue to grab items, keep them in his mouth, and use them when he needs to. So suddenly this became something like a puzzle platformer. So finally my sister had finished a couple pieces of art and I was ready to put them in. And I really wanted to put in some sort of waterfall sequence, but my sister rejected that real fast. So unfortunately, my sister didn't get to capture any of the progression of her artwork, but here's a small clip of her initial sketch of the village child. She got some color in there, and I guess you could say that she produced some concept art. I also tried to stay extra organized by making a Trello board, but it was never seen again. After getting some more art in there, it was starting to become what we had envisioned. Later that night, we regrouped and thought about the gameplay and level design. We definitely planned way too much than what we had time for. So we wrote a blog post and called it a day. It's day 2, and unfortunately I didn't get to capture as much as I wanted to. I think I was just really focused on getting things done, pumping things out. So here I was working on a quick timer script so that if time ran out, it would be game over. At this point I had the timer done, the movement done, the camera following the movement, and picking up items with your mouth and showing them on the mouth cam. So something that I found time-consuming was actually putting in the graphics and building the scene accurately. I feel like I could have taught Nadisha how to use Unity and teach her to put everything in so that she could build that part and I could focus more on the gameplay. And that's something we should remember for next time. Oh yeah, shout out to Breakies for helping me learn Cinemachine. It's been a while since I did a platformer, so it was really refreshing to watch that tutorial. I have to admit that the coding for this game jam was a big mess. It made my head spin because it was so disorganized and a lot of it was hard-coded and not dynamic. which I guess is fair given the time constraint, but I know I could have done a lot better. There was so much I wanted to add to this game, including parallax effects and much better puzzles, but a lot of it was cut out due to lack of time. So the first little puzzle of the game is to find a way to get across the river, and to do that you need to find a raft. So you would use your tongue to remove the sand, find the raft, spit the raft back into the river, and use it to float across. It's day 3, I think. So today I was just doing the same process, putting the art in, finishing up the level, adding another puzzle. At this point, we were really starting to feel that time crunch, and we had to let go of some of our ideas. Unfortunately, the colliders on the water part and the raft were a bit clunky and not really smooth for the character to move on. I wish I had time to actually smoothen that out. One thing that Nadisha wanted me to mention was that the art really changed from a solid scheme to a more textured feel to give that storybook vibe. So a lot of the process for the art was putting it in, not feeling that it matched, changing it up, and putting it back in again. A lot of my time after that was spent on animating and making sure things worked. At this point, we realized that the gameplay was way too simple, and it was kind of too late to make any further changes. But something that's always been important to us was story, vibe, and emotion, and I think we had a pretty good grasp on that for this game. The deadline was fast approaching, so we quickly wrapped up, tested, and submitted what we had. We were really cutting it close, and it was a really tense time with my sister yelling at me to hurry up. But it turned out we had an extra hour for submission. I really wish we had time to do sound effects because it would have really added a lot of life to the game. So in general, we learned that we had to really prioritize tasks and let go of things that weren't that important. To wrap up, I just want to say we had so much fun at our first Ludum Dare, and we're excited to get more involved in the game dev community. So without further ado, here's our short adventure game. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you want to keep up with what else we're up to, hit that subscribe button. Until next time.